The desert is an area in different natural zones, which is characterized by an extremely arid climate. It seems that deserts are somewhere far away, in the Sahara or Atacama, but this is not quite true. Russia also has sandy landscapes, dunes on the shore of the White Sea, sands in the Baikal Territory, and a desert in the Astrakhan region. Today, we have put together a sandy selection for you, an opportunity to see Russia from an unexpected angle. We will start with the desert, which is located in the south of Russia, in the Astrakhan region, the Ryn-sands desert. It is located in the southeastern part of the Republic of Kalmykia and the southern right bank of the Astrakhan region. The desert border in the southeast is washed by the Caspian Sea. In the south runs along the Kumo-Menij Depression, in the west along the eastern spurs of the Urganinsky upland, to the north to the middle part of the Urgeny, turns northeast and at the junction with the Sarpinsky lowland stretches to the right bank of the Volga, descending in the northeast to the Volga Delta and the Caspian Sea. The desert covers an area of about 40,000 square kilometers and belongs to the semi-desert and desert zones of the Caspian and Ural-Caspian provinces. The name of the desert is associated with the absence of continuous snow cover in winter and the abundance of plants with dark twigs, black wormwood. The climate in the desert is sharply continental, with hot, dry summers and little snow, often cold winters. There are up to 280 sunny days a year, dominated by easterly winds with dust storms lasting up to 40 days a year. Evaporation is several times higher than the amount of precipitation, which falls mainly in spring and early summer, about 250 millimeters in the semi-desert and less than 200 millimeters in the desert. Therefore, the heyday of life is not long, from April to June. In winter, frosts are often accompanied by strong winds that blow snow off the soil. The surface of the territory, slightly blackened, brown soils prevail. Sands and salt marshes are widespread. The continental soil forming rocks are represented by sand and clays. On a flat area, there are numerous increases and decreases that affect soil moisture. During rains or snowmelt, water quickly accumulates in depressions. The soil in them is soaked to a great depth and stores moisture, as well as is freed from salts. At elevations, the soil is slightly moistened. Water evaporates quickly, and salt solutions are pulled up from the depth to the surface. The anthropogenic desert was formed in conditions of an acutely arid climate and unregulated grazing of livestock, as well as plowing of sandy lands. Wind erosion has led to the dispersal and removal of the upper fertile soil layer. They are also dust storms and the movement of sands. In conclusion, I would like to note that the Ryn Desert is sands. This is an amazing and unique place where harsh climatic conditions and sand dunes create a unique landscape. Here you can see how nature is able to withstand the most difficult challenges and preserve its beauty and grandeur. Not so far away, near Voronezh, there is another amazing method. The dune hills, also known as the Donskoy Sahara, are a unique natural feature in the Voronezh region. This is a plot of about 200 hectares, covered with sand dunes, which is a natural monument of regional importance. There are several versions of the origin of this desert area. One of them says that the sand was brought by the wind from Kalmykia. Another claims that quartz sands are of local origin and have been brought here since the Ice Age. Initially, the desert formation occupied a small area, and the sand was firmly gripped by the roots of plants. However, when people began to cut down forests and graze uncontrollably cattle in the areas cleared of trees, it became volatile, and the wind blew it across the surrounding area. This led to the formation of a vast desert. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, local residents faced a serious problem: sandstorms that swept houses up to the roofs. To stop the spread of the desert, large-scale landscaping of the problem area was undertaken. These efforts yielded results, and the desert stopped growing. Today, the dune hills are a protected area where various species of animals and plants live, adapted to life in the desert. Among them you can find wolves, foxes, hares, wild boars, roe deer, raccoons, moose, mice, as well as many insects and birds. This place attracts the attention of tourists and researchers with its unique nature and the opportunity to see a real desert in the center of the European part of Russia. Dune hills have the peculiarity of the fauna, which differs from the fauna of the surrounding area. There are various types of animals here: wolves, foxes, hares, wild boars, roe deer, raccoons, moose, mice, many insects and birds. It was believed that the fauna of sand dunes is a relic element preserved from the post-glacial period. when this area was occupied by dunes. We told you about the desert in the south of the country. What about the desert in Siberia? Charsky Sands is a unique place in the Baikal Territory, which is a sandy massif with an area of about 30 square kilometers. It is located in the Charsky Basin, in the foothills the Kotar Range, and is surrounded by larch taiga and swamps. The Charsky Sands are a geological natural monument of federal significance. They were formed as a result of the activity of the wind, which processed quartz sands of the Pleistocene formation time. Sand masses form ridges, dunes and chains of dunes, interspersed with hollows of blowing. The length of individual dunes reaches from 150 to 170 meters, and the height is up to 80 meters. The vegetation here is slightly different from the taiga. In the depressions there are areas with larches, ferns and moisture-loving cedar elfin. Sparse vegetation, pouring species, grows in open areas. In the northeastern part of the tract there are two small lakes, Alyonishka and Taiga. Water in the lake Alyonishka is not recommended for drinking without filtration. Since 2010, the Charsky Sands have been included in the 7 Wonders of Transbaikalia project. This amazing place attracts tourists from all over the world who want to see a real desert among the Siberian taiga. Charsky Sands is a unique natural phenomenon that is admired for its beauty and unusual. Here you can see dunes that remind you of the desert, and larches that remind you of the taiga. This is a place where two elements meet, sand and forest. Charsky Sands is also a place where you can enjoy peace and quiet. There are no noisy cities and cars here, only the sounds of nature. You can hear the rustle of leaves, the singing of birds, and the sound of the wind. Charsky Sands is a place worth visiting at least once in your life. Here you can see the unique nature, enjoy the beauty and tranquility, and also feel unity with nature. Charsky Sands is a place that delights with its beauty and strangeness, calms with peace and quiet. This is a corner where two elements meet, sand and forest, creating a unique atmosphere. Visiting the Charsky Sands leaves an unforgettable impression and reminds you how important it is to appreciate and protect nature. It's hard to imagine, but also recently, there is also a desert in the territories next to Russia. Alishkovsky Pesky is a sandy massif located on the territory of Russia 30 kilometers east of the city of Kherson. Why do few people know about Alyoskovsky Sands? It's very simple. In Soviet times, it was a secret bombing range for military aircraft of all Warsaw Pact countries, and now the craters from the explosions of aerial bombs are clearly visible in the desert. You can find pieces of old iron, but everything is changing. The desert has already been declared a national park, and mine clearance has been carried out in it. The surface, in the depth of the sand mass, there are still bombs of unexploded shells. Little by little, it is already being favored by fans of extreme sports, hiking and jeeps. The first travel agencies even include it in their prospectuses. However, so far the chances of meeting people in the desert are minimal. There are almost no traces of their vital activity either. Wheel tracks are found quite often in the sand. Vodka bottles, that's almost all the garbage. A couple of hundred years ago, there were ordinary steppes formed on the old Dnieper riverbed. Then millions of sheep were brought to the steppes. The sheep ate all the vegetation, and the desert began. A little more information. The array has a size of about 15 kilometers in diameter. It consists of dunes and sandhills, locals call them snowdrifts, about 5 meters high, and sparse vegetation. The sands are fenced on all sides by large forest plantations, with a total area of about 1,000 square meters. Kilometers now, in connection with the well-known events in Kherson. Combat actions are taking place. We will hope that it will still be possible to preserve this reserve. We are moving smoothly from east to west. Next up is the Efa Dune, which is located in the Kaliningrad region. The Efa Dune is a part of the Curonian Spit, located in the Kaliningrad region. It is located on the 42nd kilometer of the Spit and is a sandy ridge 64 meters above sea level. The Efa Dune is known for its picturesque views and attracts many tourists. Walking along the Efa Dune is possible only on wooden floors, so as not to harm the unique ecosystem. From the height of Efa, there are stunning views of the Curonian Lagoon, the Baltic Sea, and the village of Morsko. The history of the Efa Dune is associated with the name of the German scientist and engineer Wilhelm Franz Efa, who was engaged in the strengthening and landscaping of the Curonian Spit. Thanks to his efforts, today visitors can enjoy the beauty of this place without fear of being buried under the sand. Wilhelm Franz Affe developed and implemented a unique dune reinforcement system that it allowed to prevent their further destruction and stabilize the landscape. The system included planting plants with a powerful root system that held the sand in place, as well as the construction of special reinforcing walls. Today, the Affe Dune is a popular tourist attraction. Visitors can stroll along the wooden decking, enjoying the beauty of the surrounding nature, and learn more about the history and ecology of this unique place. Thus, the Affe Dune is a unique natural phenomenon that impresses with its beauty and grandeur. This place reminds us how important it is to protect nature and preserve it for future generations. Visiting the Affe Dune will be an unforgettable adventure for all nature and history lovers. This is where the video comes to an end. I would like to say that the deserts of Russia are unique natural zones located on the vast geographical space of the country. They amaze with their beauty and diversity. They are home to many species of plants and animals, and are also important for the ecology of the country. Studying deserts helps to better understand the processes taking place in nature and preserve these amazing places for future generations.